I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation will be on the influential American rapper, producer, entrepreneur, and legend, Eazy E. He was born Eric Lynn Wright on September 7th, 1964. Now, it was said that Eazy-E rapidly passed away of AIDS, HIV/AIDS, full blown. In fact, he passed away about a month after he was diagnosed with it. So, something is not adding up. And we're going to get down to the bottom of it. Thanks to one of my subscribers and viewers for suggesting this reading, Cheyenne Owens, 89. Forgive me for any mispronunciations, but as usual, Cheyenne suggests content on my channel and readings, and I appreciate you, Cheyenne. So, as you see, I did add this to my itinerary. Now, let's get down to the bottom of this case, because you know I spent time on this case because you took us back. Eazy-E, affectionately known as the godfather of gangsta rap. He revolutionized hip-hop by bringing West Coast street life into mainstream American culture. He co-founded the legendary record label Ruthless Records in 1986 and led the seminal group NWA. Now, Ruthless Records funded the startup label using capital earned from selling drugs in Compton. Boys in the Hood debuted as a rapper in 1987 with this revolutionary track written by Ice Cube. Straight Outta Compton released the legendary 1988 NWA studio album featuring the anti-police anthem, Fuck the Police. Eazy-Duz-It dropped his hit solo debut in 1988, which went on to sell over 2.5 million copies. Group Splintering handled primarily rap duties on Niggas for Life 1991 before NWA disbanded over severe financial disputes. So at one point, Eazy-E was the head honcho. Okay, he created this whole new entity of rap, and he created a path. You know, they dug their own way to stardom. Okay? Now, to make a long story short, money and the person responsible for signing checks, you know, a lot of confrontations was going back and forth, and some people wanted out the game. Some people had to get out the game through threats. They had to literally threaten him and embarrass him. Okay? Threaten his life, his mother's life. When somebody tell you they gonna come for your mother, what you gonna do? So that's what Eazy-E ended up doing in a nutshell, to make a long story short, as far as that aspect goes. And, you know, there was a lot of notable beefs and collaborations that sprung up because of this. Ice Cube faced a bitter separation when Ice Cube left NWA in late 1989 over contractual disagreements. Dr. Dre engaged in a multi-year feud after Dre left for Death Row Records, sparking the hit diss track Real Motherfucking G's. Bone Thugs and Harmony signed and mentored the Cleveland group on Ruthless Records, cementing his legacy as an executive. Now let's talk about the death and legacy of Eazy-E, which is what this reading is going to be about. He died on March 26, 1995, at age 30 from AIDS-induced pneumonia. For those of you who know, for those of you who don't know, AIDS is an acquired immune deficiency syndrome. It is a disease that literally breaks down the immune system. The immune system is responsible for fighting off illness. So people with AIDS don't always die of AIDS. People of AIDS can die of a common cold. People of AIDS die by catching the flu. People with AIDS can die by catching a fever. If their temperature rises to a certain extent, they can die because their immune system is not fighting off the illness. The immune system has been shut down, which is what AIDS is. It is an acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Now, Eazy-E passed away of this acquired immune deficiency syndrome more rapid than anybody we know. After his diagnosis, he got sick, and next thing you know, he was in the hospital, and then next thing you know, he was dead. So everybody's like, how? Some people accepted it at face value, but the rest of us was like, how? So thank you for bringing this to me, Cheyenne. Advocacy released a final statement to fans to raise critical awareness about HIV/AIDS in his community. His final chart-topping studio album, Straight Off the Streets of Motherfucking Compton, arrived in late 1995. What happened to Eazy-E? What happened? What really happened? So, February 24th, 1995, he was admitted to the hospital with a violent cough, initially believing he had asthma or bronchitis. Now, mind you, February 24th was when it all started. He died March 26th. The following month, literally about 30 days later, he died. Who gets AIDS on February 24th? Who gets diagnosed with AIDS on February 24th and then dies a month later? Doctors diagnosed him with advanced, untreated HIV that had already progressed into AIDS. Well, I guess that's who, right? A person that gets undiagnosed, a person that gets untreated. Untreated HIV escalates into AIDS. I understand that. But I still don't take that at face value. Because there wasn't no signs. Like, he just died rapidly. There's people that I know have had AIDS for 10 and 20 years. And a lot of them look like it. But you can tell they try to take care of themselves. They look like a person who's sick but takes very good care of themselves. You can tell they're sick. You couldn't tell Eazy-E was sick. This was all of a sudden. So, of course, this needs a third eye investigation, because apparently a lot of our two eyes is not seeing the whole story. And this is what I'm going to get down to the bottom of. March 16th, 1995 released a public statement announcing his diagnosis to his fans to raise awareness. He wasn't ashamed of it. March 26, 1995, a week later, he passed away at approximately 6:35 p.m. at 30 years old. Though initial reports stated he was 31 due to the birth year discrepancy, but he was 30. So, none of his wives, none of his kids, because he had 11 kids. And a lot of people believe that he caught HIV/AIDS through his sex life. Like, he had a promiscuous sex life. He had a lot of kids. You know, it's nothing wrong with being fruitful and multiplying. You know. But there is something wrong if you caught this disease by one of your kids' parents, one of your kids' mothers. So that means one of your kids got it. But guess what? None of his kids have it. None of his kids tested positive. Even his latest child that was born after he passed away. Because there was a woman that was pregnant with his child upon his death. That child was not diagnosed with HIV or AIDS. Neither was any of the women that he had children with. So that's a good thing. That outrules them in a good way. Now, how did Eazy-E catch HIV and AIDS? Was there some infidelity going on? Or was this through drugs? Because you can catch AIDS through drugs. Or was it medically induced? Because they can also induce you with AIDS too. Needles. Just like drugs, the same way. You can catch AIDS through needles. So, because of the rapid speed of his health decline, dying just 1 month after hospitalization, numerous conspiracy theories emerged. Some family members and fans publicly questioned the official medical consensus. Speculation intensified after rival music executive Suge Knight made a highly controversial joke on television about injecting individuals with infected blood. These unproven theories were later explored in investigative media, like the WETV documentaries. AI is spelling shit wrong. You ought to see how they spelt documentaries, but we know what they mean. All right. Let's get down to the bottom of what happened to Eazy-E. I spent time in his energy, and I've spent time in his charts. Now, I'm going to try to breeze through this because I got everything written down that I want to talk about. So, I got the birth chart in front of me of Eazy-E. He was born September 7th, 1964. He died March 26th. He died March 26th, 1995. And I have the planetary alignments of both dates. And I'm going to use those charts to connect the dots. And it's going to tell us a story. So y'all know how I formulate time. Time is the sun divided by moon cycles. I am supreme. I am a high-ranking astro oracle psychic investigator. You are about to witness a high-ranking astro oracle psychic investigation on Eazy-E. So the sun was in Virgo and the moon was in Virgo the day he was born. So Eazy-E was a new moon baby. No wonder why he was so powerful. New moon babies and full moon babies are people with the most powerfulest energy signatures. They bring strong energy signatures to the planet. Now let's pull a chart. Eazy-E's birth chart. When you put a Virgo moon in Virgo's house, which is the 6th house, Aries comes first. Aries is head first. Aries is the first energy in us. Aries is at home in the 1st house. Eazy-E had an Aries way of approaching life. Head first, think later. He went straight for the target. Head first. Not like Sagittarius, which is the other fire sign, because they shoot for their target too. But they're wise with their targets. Aries is like the baby. Head first. Raw and uncut energy. Whatever they have to go through to get there, they'll deal with the scars later. They'll deal with the pain and setbacks and the scars that they had to go through and all of that later. They'll deal with their wounds later. Long as they made it. So Eazy-E approached life like that. Very brave. Wasn't scared. Not like the Leo bravery. Leo bravery has wisdom. Leo bravery is mature bravery. Not Aries. Aries bravery is like the baby. Aries is brave, but their bravery is not mature. Aries bravery is raw, uncut. It could even be borderline petty. See, at least Leo gives a fuck. But they still gonna do what they do. Because Leo is still fire. Just because they give a fuck, don't think that it controls them. They still gonna do what they want to do. Aries don't give a fuck. And they'll let you know that they don't give a fuck. So, Eazy-E had strong Aries energy. Now, his sun and his moon was in Virgo, which is in the house of health. The sixth house is Virgo's house. The fact that he was a new moon baby, every sign is in its own house. Perfect alignment. Okay? When it came time to work, he was a worker. When it came time for relationships, he was the man. When it came time for sex, he was sexual. When it came time for church, he was all about God. When it came time to succeed, he was all about success. When it came time for friends, teamwork makes the dream work. When it came time for family, he's a family man. That's what it means to be aligned. Unlike a full moon baby, where Libra comes first, every sign would be in its opposite house. Opposites bring balance. So full moon babies, they represent the opposite of everything that they pursue. Because there is a lesson behind that. It creates the type of friction that brings balance. That's why Libra people will always attract aggressive confrontational energy. They attract people that need to catch their balance, because that's what Libra is all about. So they go through friction in every area. They are not the worker when it comes time to work. They are the people who don't want to work. Libra in relationships are not the person that show up as the relationship. They show up as the person that don't want to be in a relationship. And you got to constantly fight with them. Well, why the fuck are you here? But we're not talking about Libra. We're talking about Aries. On point and as scheduled in every area. Work hard, play hard. Now, pay attention to this house of health, because that's where Eazy-E's strongest energy is at. Sun and the moon is in the house of health. Let's pull his death chart. Eazy-E passed away March 26, 1995. The sun just so happened to be in Aries that day. And the moon was in Aquarius. When you put an Aquarius moon in Aries house, which is the first house, of course Aquarius comes first. Now, Aquarius coming first means that, let's look at where Aquarius came from. It came from its own house. Every sign in this chart is not in its own house, but it definitely came from its own house. This is what's going to tell a story. Now, Aquarius comes first. Okay? So this is going to let us know who's involved first. By looking at where Aquarius came from. It came from its own house. A friend. The group. The circle. Now, Eazy-E was in the entertainment industry. Circle. The Leo circle of entertainment. Right here. Leo rules entertainment. Opposites attract. This represents the group, Aquarius. He was the balance. Now, who in his circle? What kind of circle is this? Let's elaborate on Aquarius. By following the planet that rules our Aquarius energy, which is the planet Uranus. Some people pronounce it Uranus. Uranus, Uranus. But it is the electromagnetic satellite that governs our Aquarius energy. The Aquarius energy of groups, friends, organizations, sororities, fraternities. Circles that involve groups of people from all different walks of life, but they come together under one umbrella. because they have something in common. It represents the movement. What are you standing up for? What is this gang's mission? Uranus in Eazy-E's chart is in Virgo. Right here. Now, this is not just only the house of health. This is also the house of work. Now, Eazy-E was a hard worker. We know that. He paved his own way. Fuck grant money. Fuck a handout. We using drug money. We using street money. We using money that we work for to save up and move our way up to the top. Scratch their way to success. That's Virgo in its own house. Raw and uncut. Not afraid to get dirty to succeed. That's what Eazy-E was all about. Now, there was a friend that was a part of this work team. How do I know that? Because Uranus, that rules the team, is in Virgo. So this friend that comes first the day Eazy-E died, that plays a role in his death, comes first. And this is a friend that he worked with. Look at where Virgo landed the day it happened. Right there in the house of death. You cannot make this up. Even if I did not know Eazy-E died of AIDS or HIV, I would definitely be doing this reading to still let you know that this person died of a health failure. Somehow a work-oriented death. A health-oriented death. And a co-worker is involved because Virgo is health and work. And when it shows up in the house of death, that lets me know that health and work marks this person's death in some form or fashion. Whether it's HIV, whether they died of another common sickness or whatever, it marks the energy of death. Now let's elaborate on this death. I wrote it down. The first thing I wrote was it's definitely a health-related death. Virgo in the 8th house. That's where Eazy-E's sun and moon was that day. That was the day he was supposed to die. That was the day when the planets aligned. Now, Eazy-E's Pluto, which is the planet that rules Scorpio's house. The 8th house is Scorpio's house. This is the house of death. Pluto is the planet that rules Scorpio. Eazy-E's Pluto is also in Virgo, which is another dot that lets me know that he was destined to die of a health issue or work-related issue. Now, Mercury rules Virgo. It rules Virgo and Gemini. It rules the interactive communication travel aspect of Gemini, and it rules the practical work-oriented health-related aspect of Virgo. We're sticking with the practical work-oriented health aspect of Virgo when it comes to Eazy-E because his Pluto was in Virgo, not Gemini. So let's follow this side of Mercury, which is the planet that rules the intellect. It rules Virgo. It rules the work-oriented practical application. This Mercury is also in Virgo in Eazy-E's chart, but Mercury was in Pisces the day he died. Now, Pisces is the exact opposite of Virgo. Virgo represents physical health and wellness. Pisces, which shows up in the house of money, the 2nd house, represents spiritual health and wellness. Now, Pisces represents the medication that comes from like natural herbs. People have medically induced marijuana because it heals their sicknesses and ailments. Okay? These type of herbs rule Pisces energy. There was a time where people drank, and they still do. They drink that hard corn liquor to heal. You could drink gin, E&J, to heal a cough or the flu. There were times when they gave a shot of hard liquor to children because it helped their body relax enough for their colds to go away. This is how they healed in the country. The deep, deep country. Deep, deep south. Now, Pisces showed up in the house of money. And Mercury is here. So this lets me know that there is some type of a opposite effect of drugs. See, Virgo medication is prescription medication that you get from a doctor. Pisces medication is natural herbal medication that you can get from the garden, that you get from the earth. And the ways that you put it in your system is through smoke and injection. That is the Pisces way. Because you could take drugs through injection too. So what this is showing me, that somebody paid a doctor to inject Eazy-E with this virus. Let's elaborate on why Pisces showed up in the house of money. Where did Pisces come from? Remember, everything in this chart came from its own house. In Eazy-E's chart, Pisces came from the house of Pisces, the 12th house, which is the house of the hidden. Now, in a toxic situation, Pisces is also the house of intoxication. This is the house of escape from reality. This is not reality's house. Reality is the opposite, Virgo. Eazy-E was born in the house of reality. But there is a strong element of escape revolving around his death that has a lot to do with money. This is Taurus's house. And of course, Taurus is at home in Eazy-E's chart, which represents money. But where's Taurus at the day that he actually died? Taurus is right here in the home and family. History. What type of home and family? Where's Cancer? Because this is Cancer's house, the 4th house. Cancer is right here in the 6th house of work. His work home and family. You want to know why else I know that somebody could be responsible for paying a doctor? Because the 6th house is the house of doctors as well. And when Cancer is there, this is particularly a female doctor, because Cancer rules the moon, which is the female electromagnetic satellite that orbits the earth and is responsible for nature, which is what we all come from, the mother. This is a woman physician. You know how else I know it was a physician involved? Because Aquarius comes first. Remember, the person in their circle from work, medical circle. Now, Venus that day was right here in Aquarius, along with the moon. Now, the moon rules Cancer. And look where Cancer is at, right there in the medical field. Also, look where Venus is in Eazy-E's chart, right here in Cancer. So the planets were aligned to show me that this is somebody from his circle, medical field circle, that was a physician that was paid to inject him. From who? Look in Aquarius's house, you see Sagittarius. This was a foreign individual that had a hit out on Eazy-E. And if it wasn't a foreign individual, this was somebody of a totally different culture. Now, you know the entertainment industry is a culture. Somebody he was in a relationship with, because look inside of Sagittarius' house, the ninth house, you see Libra. Possible medically induced injected. All right? Came from its own home. Intoxication, drugs, spirits, delusions, and deception. Somebody from his circle of medical professionals is the power behind the throne. Because Scorpio, remember the 8th house of death is Scorpio's house. Look where Scorpio is at, in the 10th house of the public. But this is Capricorn's house. Scorpio is the energy of power and death. Where is this power operating at? Okay? Look where Capricorn is. Because this power is in the 10th house on the throne. In the public. Right here behind the scenes. Hiding. The power behind the throne. Where's Capricorn at? In Eazy-E's chart. In its own house. The goat. The goat. There is a goat involved. Y'all know what the goat is when it comes to the entertainment industry. I'm going to name one goat of many. Not to say that this is the goat that was responsible, but I'm going to name one goat that is a foreigner from Eazy-E, and that is Clive Davis. But we know that Clive Davis ain't have nothing to do with this. We don't know. But Clive Davis is a goat. And there are also many other goats in the industry. This person that has a lot to deal with the power behind the throne is a goat. Capricorn in its own house. Eazy-E was a goat as well. Because he had Capricorn in its own house. Now, Saturn rules Capricorn. And this will elaborate on his goat energy. Now, look where Saturn is at both days. In Eazy-E's birth chart and the day he died. It's in Pisces. Right here. In the intoxication. The induction. The drug. The spirit. The deception. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. Let's pull cards. Let's pull cards. Let's pull cards. Who's involved in the death of Eazy-E? Who's involved in Eazy-E contracting HIV/AIDS and dying of it? Who is involved? There's always two main characters. Because the victim is not always alive to testify, such as this situation. But there's still always two main characters of every crime. The suspect and a witness. Even if the witness wasn't there, there is a witness. Somebody other than the suspect always knows. Always saw something. Always knows something. So who are these two people? Who are these two people? Who are these two people involved in the death of Eazy-E from AIDS? Who are these two people? Who are these two people involved in the death of Eazy-E from AIDS? Who are these two people? I'm going to cut the deck and I'm going to pull two cards. Who are these two people? 1, 2. Both in the first house. Authority and the community. Capricorn, Aquarius. Authority and the community. An authority figure in his community. In his community. Look at this. You cannot make this up. The community is Aquarius energy. Remember, the community of individuals. He was in the entertainment industry and community. This was an authority figure in the community. An authority figure in the community. Now, he was an authority figure in the community. Now, if nobody medically induced him, then they sold him something. And he induced himself and didn't know what he was inducing himself with. But see, when you inject somebody with AIDS, it's different from injecting them with heroin. When you inject somebody with AIDS, it's the same thing, but it's different. But it goes through the bloodstream. And Aquarius, when it comes to health, Aquarius rules the circulatory system. I'm getting ready to show you. Y'all know I got an Astro Oracle Index. All right. I'm going to show you why Aquarius. Okay, here we go. Medical astrology. I got a template for everything. Everything. Because I love to be raw and uncut and in your face with everything. Look. Medical astrology. Aquarius. Look at that. Circulatory system. That rules collective plagues. Collective plagues. Like, hey, look at that. You can't make this up. Aquarius. Circulatory system. Leo rules the heart. And is the opposite of Aquarius. Because Aquarius rules the blood. The circulatory system. The blood and the heart go together. So, being that Aquarius comes first, there's definitely something circulating in his blood. And it was injected. 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 Now, I'm going to let Eazy-E talk to us in 4 cards. In 4 words. Because the words that he tell us is going to give the viewers, more than me, a clue. When you hear these 4 words that Eazy-E speaks, a lot of you, and some of you are going to know exactly what he's talking about in order to identify the person that's responsible. You'll understand once I pull these 4 cards. Hell, I may even understand. But I'm quite sure this. I don't follow Eazy-E. I did not, but I know who he is. We all know who Eazy-E was. We listen to his music. We know Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, and all of them. We know all about that. But some people followed him more than others did. I didn't follow him like that, but I do know of him. So, talk to me, Eazy-E, in 4 words that'll help me understand, for our viewers and subscribers, what happened to you. In 4 words that'll help us understand who's most likely responsible for this. In 4 words, Eazy-E, I am connected to him. I was connected to him before I logged on. I spent time in meditation. All of these decks are pre-shuffled. Pre-shuffling the decks is like praying over them with the energy of the person I'm doing the reading over them. So, energy doesn't lie. I'm about to cut the deck and pull 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we have family. That 4th house is definitely important. We have family, experience, and wisdom. College and universities. Both of these are 9th house cards. Denial. Was this sexually transmitted? Now, both of these are 9th house cards. Let's look in the 9th house. You see a relationship that was developed. This is Sagittarius' house. Who is this relationship with? Let's look where Sagittarius is at. Sagittarius is in the 11th house. That's Aquarius' house. And Aquarius comes first. So could this be somebody from a college or a university? Could this be a health professor or physician? Or could this be somebody that he was fucking around with from a college or a university who has experience and wisdom? But I feel like, because this is Sagittarius's card, This is Sagittarius' card and the ninth house, and this is also Sagittarius and the ninth house. So, where was Sagittarius at in Eazy-E's chart? Right there in the ninth house. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Where's Jupiter at? In Sagittarius that day. And Jupiter in Eazy-E's chart is in Taurus. And Taurus is in the second house of money, its own house. But the day it happened, Taurus was in the fourth house of home and family. And the family card did come out. Is this somebody? Because the ninth house is also the grandparents' house. I'm just reading the cards. Who's in denial? Somebody's in denial. Somebody's in denial. Who is it? Are we the ones in denial? Did he really die of a sexually transmitted disease, or did somebody inject him? What's going on? What is this about, Eazy-E? Let us know what this is about. What's really going on? Are we the ones in denial? Or were you in denial? Is your family in denial? What's going on? Who's in denial? What is going on? I'm going to pull two cards. Talk to me in two cards. What is going on? Them cards ain't lying, y'all. What's going on? What is going on? Pluto, the planet of death, which was in Virgo, which is what confirmed that he died of a health issue. Pluto that day was in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is right here in the 11th house, Aquarius' house, and Aquarius comes first. Yeah, them cards ain't lying. Who's this person from the college and the university that has experience and wisdom? Who's this person? Two cards. What's going on? 1, 2. Now we have something violent in the house of relationships. So there was a violent aspect. Because relationships, 7th house is Libra's house. Libra's over here in the 9th house. We just got finished elaborating on these two cards that came out. These two 9th house cards that came out. Now, you have something violent took place in the 9th house. Okay? Now, what's going on in the 7th house? Leo. Entertainment. Somebody that he was in a relationship with from the entertainment industry. There's some entertainment industry violence going on here. The 4th house. The house of family. Home, family, and the mother. Property. Why? Because if he was injected, there was a reason why they wanted him dead. Was this reason because of home and property? In the 4th house, look what you see. Taurus. Money. The same thing we saw in the 2nd house in Eazy-E's chart, because that's Taurus's house. Money. Which is where Pisces is. The day it happened. Which is the denial. Pisces is the denial card in the toxic. Because Pisces is unclear. Nothing is what it seems to be. Which is easy to be in denial. Property. Was this about property? Why did this happen to you, Eazy-E? Why did this happen to you? Why did this happen to you? Why did this happen to you? Two cards. Why did this happen to you? Why did this happen to you? Why did this happen to you? Why? Was he worth more dead than he was alive? Why did this happen to you? Two cards. One, look at that. The same fucking cards came out. And this is a whole different deck. This is why. The same fucking cards. 7-4. 7-4. You cannot make this up. Look at that. The same cards, the seventh house and the fourth house. Relationships and homes. Problems in the relationship, which brought the violence. Look at that. Lies in the fourth house about property. Family is involved. You cannot make this up. These are from two different decks. What and why? You cannot make this up. Family is involved. Property is involved. A relationship problem is involved. This could be marriage. Somebody he was in a relationship with is involved. And I think somebody consulted with an authority figure, specifically a medical authority figure, on how to inject him with this disease. Because there is no way that even if the HIV went untreated for a long period of time, that all of a sudden he gets diagnosed February and now he's dead in March. Yeah, that was too quick. That was too quick. That was too quick. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. I'm going to leave this reading right here. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. I'll leave this reading right here. Right here. That's wild. That is wild. That is wild. The same exact cards from two different decks. Letting you know, and plus the same card in the first house, the authority figure in that community. Both ninth house cards came out. Somebody from a college or a university that has experience and wisdom. Yeah. Yep. Can't make this up. They injected that man. Yep. They wanted him dead. That's my reading on Eazy-E. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. And may he rest in peace.